So I'm James Preston, thank you very much for the introduction from David. So goals, we're going to show how some of these technologies are installed and then our operations of those technologies within Queen's. As we're going throughout it, we're also going to be looking at the resources that you guys can then pick up from and go away to learn about these more. So lynda.com is heavily featured throughout that. There's a shameless plug for my personal blog in there, along with other resources. The plan, as we've already seen, is loosely going to be around this. I haven't done any presentations like this in a while, so we see if the content actually meets our expectations. Please do ask questions as we're going along, otherwise this is just going to be me talking and that's going to get horribly boring. So the IT office inside Queen's, we've got 3 full-time IT staff members. That's David, who is our manager, I'm the systems officer, and then Linda, who talks to our first-line support. We run 3 HyperV hosts, and that's largely based upon Microsoft services. As far as what our top-of-the-rack network switching and so on goes, we've got a Palo Alto firewall, a pair of Ruckus zone directors using the 7363 wireless access points, which of course we're now looking at moving on because those access points are going end of life. There's an HP 5400 ZL2 core switch in the middle of all that, and that is our main fiber aggregation point. And just for the next couple of weeks, hopefully, there's a Juniper DMZ switch in there, just so that we can speak to 2 different types of network. We've got the old IP address range, so our 129.67 address, and we're also now moving everything to private addresses behind 10.128. So we installed brand new HP switches 2, maybe 3 years ago now. Our core switch is pretty much populated fully now with fiber, so there's no fiber really running to anywhere else except for to the core. We do have a DR room over at one of our other buildings, and we've got 2 different links out to that. That's the switches as they were being built by our good friends at Switch Shop. As far as the HyperV hosts go, we've got 2 Dell T430s in the server room. They are designed to be tower servers, but we actually went out and bought the rail conversion kits for them. So they're now mounted in our rack in our server room. We've then got another Dell T430, which effectively has double the RAM of one of the single ones in the primary hosts, and double the storage, and that's used as our DR site. So HyperV Server, if you haven't already come across it, HyperV itself is actually free. What's not free is to license the Windows virtual machines that will run on it. So if all you're doing is running Linux servers, you might well wish to use HyperV to host those. We use it with the 5-minute replication option. So every 5 minutes, the delta of everything that's happened on the primary host is shipped over to the DR site, such that if main college were to suddenly disappear off the face of the earth, we've only really lost 5 minutes of data and however long it takes to turn everything on over at the other side. HyperV has really come along, so it's got technologies like discrete device assignment now, which allows you to take a graphics card, plug that inside your HyperV host and expose that graphics card at its pure bare metal to the virtual machines inside that, should you have some good reason to do that. Supports secure boot as well for trusted computing. Of course, it's got clustering, which again is free out of the box, and of course does live migration, be that live migration from locally attached storage or just in memory using SANs. If you want to get a free copy of HyperV Server to then spin that up on some metal, links are going to be up there. All these slides will be available with both the video, so we're capturing the audio off me at the moment, and also the slides themselves, so you can grab the links off them a little bit later. So our implementation of HyperV, we've got our primary host and the DR host, as we were saying. Every 5 minutes, everything goes over to there. So when I started out, we were mainly running Server 2008 R2. We've slowly been moving over to Server 2016. We started out with the select agreements that we could buy through the IT services shop, but with a little bit of a nudge from previous experience, we've now moved to the Microsoft Enrollment for Education Solutions licensing option, which is a yearly thing. You basically say how much you're going to be running inside that year and then license the corresponding amount. That's you. Oh. Don't worry. Licensing it per year using the Select agreement effectively allows you to upgrade to whatever the latest version of Windows Server is out at that time. It also allows you access to the new 6-monthly release cycle of Windows Server should you decide to go to that instead. If we take the cost of the Select agreement against using EES, you're effectively going to have to use your Select agreement license for 7 years for it to be cost effective. Bytes, of course, now being the university's preferred supplier for EES. So, for the purpose of today's demonstration, we've spun up the King's College, Oxford. We've got a couple of client PCs running Windows 10, a pfSense firewall, and various other virtual machines, all running Windows Server 2016. So, that's the end of our introduction. The first major topic of today